Morning, folks. Welcome back to Edible Whole Foods. Today, we're going to kind of take the best of some winter things. Citrus is prime right now. Today, we're doing an interesting recipe of baby arugula, baby spinach, grapefruit, some local feta cheese, and pecans. It's a wonderful, wonderful recipe for this time of the year. It kind of brings all of the winter vegetables and citrus together, and it's perfect for a lot of different dishes. It calls for supremes. And some people, they go, supreme? What the heck is that? So I'm going to show you how to do a supreme. I like using a boning knife or a fillet knife to do this. But primarily what you're doing, this works with grapefruit, orange, anything that's citrus like this, you just kind of cut around the surface to get your skin off, cut away any pit. Now, the real fast professional way to do this is you take it, you go right down inside that segment, turn the knife, and come right back up the other segment. And you get that beautiful, beautiful piece of fruit. This is good not only for this recipe, but just about any time you want to do some citrus fruit and you want to make it really nice looking. So in this pot, I've got port wine, orange juice, cranberry juice, some garlic, and I've reduced it almost to a syrup. This is about a third of its original volume.
So, Fred, tell me about the port.
I knew I was going to be in trouble with this port.
As soon as you mentioned port.
David Faircloth, our local wine expert out here at North Raleigh Whole Foods. I used a ruby port, but I don't really know why I used a ruby port.
Well, you know, port comes in many, many different styles, and ruby is probably the least expensive of the ports there is. As you know, port is what we call a fortified wine, so it has a high alcohol content because what they do is they stop the fermentation by adding brandy to it, and that when the fermentation stops, you have all the residual sugar, but also a high alcohol content. So ruby ports tend to be the least expensive of the ports. They tend to be a little fruitier, a little sweeter, a little lighter bodied. So that's probably why you use the ruby there.
All right, well, this is the base for a dressing that's going to blend very, very well with these other ingredients.
Yeah.
So I'm using my immersion blender because I'm kind of lazy. You could do this in a blender. You could also do this by hand if you wanted to. And I'm just going to pour the reduction in there. Now notice I had an egg yolk in there. Know where your eggs came from, or use a pasteurized egg. All right, so I've got that nicely blended. The egg is the emulsifier. I'm going to put just a little bit of red wine vinegar. And David, if you will help me.
I'll be glad to.
I need about half a cup of
Half a cup?
Yep. Now, the reason I'm using this wand blender is because it helps to emulsify. It's actually moving everything around faster than I can. Now we need some, this is hazelnut oil. You could use walnut oil, you could use any nut oil that you wanted to.
How much of this do you need?
A couple of tablespoons.
All right.
That's good. All right, so let's see what we got. Ooh, that's pretty doggone good. Grind me some pepper in there.
I'll be glad to.
A couple of grinds. A couple of grinds of salt.
Yes, sir.
Interesting thing about this dressing that I found out is it's also a really good marinade for a pork chop, believe it or not. All right, so we're just going to pour this right over the top of this. Isn't that a really pretty dressing? The local feta, as much of that as you want. And we've also got some toasted pecans that we're going to sprinkle over the top. And that's pretty much it. Now, you want to give it a try? Sure. Toss it around a little bit and give it a try.
I want to give it a little try here.
And you also brought...
I did. You know...
You brought a wine that you think will be really good.
Will pair very well with that. Yes, sir. I brought a wine from the Costières de Nîmes region of France, right next to the Rhône region. It's a blend of Grenache Blanc, Roussanne, and Marsanne, and I think it has a nice floral character, some fruity character to counterbalance the citrus note of the grapefruit. I think it's a beautiful wine. Cool. Why don't you pour us up a little bit?
I will while you're doing your tasting. Isn't that a good winter salad?
Oh, man. That is marvelous.
Eat Put your greens in a salad and your citrus fruit and drink great wine.
Exactly.
David, thank you for being here. Thank you guys for joining us today. Come back next week for